and good morning, everyone. 39 minutes after the hour on this Wednesday. Hope you guys have had a good week so far. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to almost a snow talk. Almost said it. Storm talk. The reason why I said that is I accidentally punched up the background earlier when I got in here and I punched up snow talk. Wishful thinking, right? Or Floridian slip. We'll see. But anyways, nice to look at the graphic again. I missed it so much. You guys know 6 more months away. We'll be talking about it. But today it's all about the heat once again in the Ohio Valley. And, of course, that will lead to some scattering of showers and storms. I will say we are not, even though we are looking at a storm threat, we do have alert days out. I do not see anything overly alarming on the extent of damaging weather this system can provide compared to previous systems we've had this season. We have just enough wind energy get involved into the storyline, into the narrative, to allow for there to be watches and some warnings that get issued. The one thing about this time of the year when we start to get into severe weather that is a little different than any other time of the year is that we tend to see the tornado potential downgrade in intensity and in numbers this time of the year, just because you don't have all the right ingredients for tornado development. But when you get into these higher humidity scenarios that start to build in, you get into more heat. It's more of a downburst wind scenario, straight line winds that can develop, and a lot of lightning and a lot of flash flooding. Those tend to be your bigger issues in the summer months here that will continue all the way really until September. We'll have to be facing that type of setup at times moving through the area. One thing I've noticed in the 15 years I've been here, anytime that I've witnessed a severe weather set up with damaging winds, those bowling segments in the summer months in our area, they have caused more problems and more wind damage than any of the other tornado events we've had year to date. So that one surprised me that we could be entering that phase of this. We'll see. But I don't want everyone to always think that tornadoes just mean that's the worst of it all and there's everything else is, fun and games. No, your straight line wind potential is something you have to pay attention to. I know it doesn't get all the bells and whistles as a tornado warning, but it does cause more problems in our area, especially with us having an above ground power grid in many spots. You can run into more issues with lines going down, and they have to deal with power outages, likely followed by a heat wave in many cases, and that's when it gets really, really miserable. Anyway, I'm not saying all that's going to play out. I'm just letting you know that we're in a different phase here of talking about storm talk today compared to what we've had earlier this season. So just kind of a little bit of a behind the scenes look at the thought process. Hello to Carrie. Carrie got on first on YouTube. You always do. Hello to Tim and Blue on there as well. Hello to Sean. I know it's fairly quiet today. I'm not expecting a lot of you to be here because I think everyone's fully informed. At least that's how I take it. There's not a lot of you watching right now. Two things. One, you're aware of the storm setup because, to be honest, not a whole lot has changed. And two, you are just busy. You got things you want to do outside. It's gonna be another very warm day. You want to get those gardens and flower beds in place. Got work outside to do. You don't want to be bogged down staring at me. So I get that. So, but if you are new to the area, new to the chat, and you do have some questions, I'll be glad to help you out as we kind of fumble along here the next little bit. Didn't set this SkyTrack camera, so this is the one that was punched up. I guess Twana was looking at a sunrise, I'm assuming, this morning out of V-Town. But boy, still a lot of haze, right? Yeah, that hazy sky just continues. Some smoke involved in that, but a lot of it's just haze as we're starting to increase the moisture levels now. All right, the high temperatures as of late. We held at 86 is our warmest so far this year. We did it 3 times. And yes, we had severe weather, majority of those 3 times. But notice how many days, really, going back into mid-May, how many just were way off the mark. I mean, we should have been in the 80s at this time during this window that you're looking at. And we really stayed in the 70s and 60s many times. Only a couple of 80s thrown there. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, what is that last one right there? There you go, trying to sneak in that late afternoon 90-degree day. Well, we knew we were going to get close, right? we eventually touched it for a few moments. It's all it takes to get to that level, and that happened yesterday. The earliest we ever had to experience a 90-degree day, April 10th, 2011. The average is not too long ago, just a few days ago, would have been the average of when we normally would hit that level. And we've only had to wait just a smidge here this year to the 3rd of June. Now we've officially could say it's been a hot summer so far with that 90-degree temperature. And the latest, and that we had to wait for the first one to show up was July 14th. Well, the good news is that stat's gone. So now that we got the one from yesterday in the books, now we look forward to when will be the last one of the season and when will the first flicks. Okay, maybe not. Just thought I would throw it out there while I could. Hey, we got a lot more cumulus clouds showing up today. You can see that little speckled look on the visible satellite. Once again, kind of bubbling up there right across central Kentucky. But we're not quite within the front's influence just yet. The front's to our west, staring us down, but quite not. Yeah, we're right there. We're close. We're one side of us is the high pressure, other side is the front. We're kind of like, again, we're Switzerland. We're like in between, like, hey, we see you coming, but, hang tight, don't get in the door too quickly. And high pressure, hey, we're going to miss you. It's been fun. Don't leave us. So we're kind of this in-between day today. So that's why there's no alert day out and the rain chances overall relatively low. Now, when I brought the view out, you see how we are balanced between the two. And you can see this wall of line of storms stretching from Chicagoland all the way down into Kansas City and then eventually down into areas of eastern Texas. It is a very slow mover. When fronts put on the brakes like that, it really cuts down the forward momentum. Your severe potential eases back to more your clusters of playing bumper cars again or whack-a-mole where there's kind of random. It's that kind of a setup as there's just a narrow belt of wind right along that front that will try to power up. Most of them sub-severe today. I don't think it's going to be a huge issue at all. But if that were all we had to worry about was the front just drifting in our area, we really, first off, we wouldn't have an alert day out for later this week, and we wouldn't really have much to worry about in general as far as really active or damaging weather coming our way. So why do we enter into a more stormier setup? Well, here's why. We got the front where it's at now, located, again, Chicago to the southwest. Once we advance it to today, that is the outlook, by the way, from the Storm Prediction Center for the marginal risk, is roughly in the arc of the boundary. Some of this is going to be drifting in late tonight. You got to keep in mind these outlooks go until 7 a.m. So this is where any low and severe potential can be between now and 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So there is a chance late night tonight. Some of this may try to drift into southern Indiana, a little closer to Paducah, but it'll take some time. Again, very slow. Think of the Sloth. What's the movie that's in? I always forget this. Is it Zootopia? I think it's Zootopia is the one I'm thinking of. But anyway, the sloth of the DMV, everyone says that's me. But anyway, think of the sloth of the DMV there. That's the same thing. Everything's just slowly being stamped and moving along. All right. So it's a very slow process. That means you get to enjoy another nice day today. It's my point. Now, tomorrow, the front does become a little more tilted. It's no longer got that angle to it. It begins to tilt and become a little more parallel to I-64. And because of that, we still don't have a strong front, right? It's still a very weak boundary. So same storyline. A thunderstorm or two will form over here, one or two over here, and they'll play almost like bumper cars. They'll kind of just bounce around one another. An outflow boundary will push or create the illusion that they're moving in one direction or another, but in reality of it all, they're just falling apart, and a new one is going up right next door. Then that one collapses, and then a new one goes up next door of it. That rinse and repeat pattern of that back and forth setup of clusters of thunderstorms will continue as we head into the day on Thursday, which makes the timing a big issue, because I know you're going to ask, well, what time Thursday? Do I need to be indoors at 4 p.m. or 4:15? I don't know. No one knows that answer. All I can tell you is that if you hear some thunder, get inside. And it's as simple as that. And keep it on the Wave Weather app. And of course, on TV, we'll guide you through it as well. But there really will not be one driving force of these thunderstorms. They'll kind of just be wandering around, and some will just develop right over your head if you're going to be outside for a while there on your Thursday. So still another very warm day, not as warm as what we've been through, went through yesterday and what we will be going through today. We'll have more clouds around tomorrow. So it will not be as nice of a day, but still I wouldn't by any stretch call it tomorrow a washout. I just think it'll be active at times with showers and storms, lightning, cloud to ground lightning, and some very heavy rainfall because they're not moving much will be your bigger threats there for Thursday. But remember, the more tiltedness, you already see what's happening and what I'm about to say. We started off here. Now it's tilted to here. And then as we get into Friday, it becomes even more tilted east-west, perfectly along the I-64 corridor, excuse me. So now this is what we call the train track has been laid, because you notice a slight risk of this back here to the west for tomorrow. That is that pocket of wind we talked about yesterday that is rolling along. It's waiting for the train track to get established, and then in like a locomotive, it's going to charge on eastbound. Now, it's going to be a little odd. It's not going to follow interstates exactly, but it will be chugging along as we head into Friday morning, Friday midday, Friday afternoon, and into Friday night. That will be its general track of that wind energy will be moving right along this zone as we head into the day Friday until late Friday night into the pre-dawn hours of Saturday. As it does so, there will be bowing segments with more of a straight line wind scenario. This has a better potential for watch boxes to get issued. We could get several severe thunderstorm warnings, especially. It could get issued for a straight line wind, and could have some flood advisories or even flash flood warnings that could get issued briefly. But I think a lot of flood advisories and a lot of cloud to ground lightning. So Friday is just going to be a much more active day, and that is why Friday takes on the majority of the alert day stats. So let me advance the map from the Storm Prediction Center from Thursday now into Friday, and you can see how the overall just expands with that wind energy kind of passing through on the severe side. Interestingly enough, for those in Kentucky, there are some signs that because these complexes of storms, these MCSs, they love high dew point and theta E environments. So whenever you get thunderstorms that are like, if you're watching Pac-Man, they're moving along to Kentucky, if they see there's a pocket of fuel that has not been touched yet near Louisville or southern Indiana, you will actually see the outflow from that thunderstorm. It'll, not to give it a character, but it will certainly start to chomp in that direction and suddenly jog north and try to eat at that real quick before it goes away. So these thunderstorms can get hungry. I don't know how, we feed them all the time, but still they will be hungry for high dew points and high amounts of moisture in the air. And that's how we will be able to help guide them too, as that pocket of wind heads eastbound. So again, yeah, you're going to ask, is there going to be a tornado threat? Yeah, you can always get a tornado threat just for any type of cell that collides with another one, but the environment is not a supercell, large tornado on the ground tracking over multiple states. The environment is not there. There's not that strong of a tailpipe here. There's just enough of a one to organize thunderstorms along this path, but there's not as much of one to create a bigger concern for severe. Type 1, if that all made sense. Type 1 did all make sense. Crispy's already on the tornado aspect. You'll be all right. Just be weather aware. As I always say, it doesn't matter if you got straight line wind or hail or even flash flooding. You just need to have a way to get alerts for all of those. Tornadoes get the most attention, but you got to have the way to be notified. Kelly, how accurate is NATOcast? It doesn't do too bad. It pulls in a lot of models that you see already today. It's just it gets a fresh little title to it, but nothing unusual that we wouldn't show you here. Okay, I think everyone seems all right. I'm hoping I explained it well. I mean, it's not very complex. It really isn't. Today, quiet. Tomorrow, stormy at times. And then Friday's the day to really pay attention. could certainly affect more more outdoor plans on Friday, unfortunately, with these clusters of showers and storms. The game plan is that when the last one moves in for Friday, it will be just enough to help allow, as we talked about on, I think, Monday, to grab the front and then push all of this storm zone, the train track, if you will, more down into southern Tennessee, into the Carolinas. And that seems to be the game plan still. As long as that holds, that will give us a quiet weekend. There are some models that are not as aggressive on that drop down to I-40 or even I-20. So we are cautiously agreeing with the trend south. But if we see a trend back north, we'll let you know right away. But every day I've come in to look at things, it's just been inching more to the south and a little more and a little more. So that's a good trend to give us a quiet weekend. Are we done with the storm chance? No, I'll show you. There's another one that we have to watch. Let me zoom in on the counties that are in that slight risk. I mean, anywhere you within wave country has got a potential for some severe. So don't get too caught up in the categories on this one. Here is our in-house model. Here we go, showing the thunderstorms for today into tonight. Again, mainly north and west. Very, very spotty. Here we go on Thursday. Thursday again, it's Pac-Man Day. You can almost see that. Let me back that up. Look how they pop over around Evansville at 5 in the afternoon, and look how they eat the Cape. Gobble, 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 gobble. And nothing left for the rest of the area. So if that scores right, then it's just going to be a quiet overnight period. Nothing going on. But then we get into Friday. Now we're starting to build up the fuel. Now the graph model likes to build this more in southern Kentucky than it does Indiana. But you can see at the last couple of frames, watch the storms there around E-Town and Bowling Green, how they see the hint of Cape that has not been touched yet near Louisville. And it makes a little sudden little jog up to the north there to try to eat that. So, yeah, they're a little picky that way. But pretty easy going forecast overall. Typical summertime alert day setup here with downburst winds and some hail that could fall. Here's the Euro showing that we get this front out of here in south Saturday into Sunday. Here comes the next front. This one's going to be moisture starved. I don't see a lot happening with it, but it'll be moving in from the Midwest. It should arrive here at some point late Monday into Tuesday. Timing's still getting worked out, but I just don't think it's going to have a lot to worry about. And then once it passes by, then we should get a break for a few days. We may score 4 days in a row after it passes by of where we're in lower humidity, low to mid 80s. Not much to worry about until maybe next weekend of the 14th. Father's Day weekend, we may have to get back into a stormy zone again. But at least right now, we're noticing these breaks are getting a little more widespread in nature, and that's a big plus. So here's your entire 10-day. We'll go with 89 today, 86 tomorrow just because there'll be more clouds around the area tomorrow, 84 just because the clouds and the showers and the storms. So, yeah, a lot working against us on trying to warm there on Saturday. And then it's less humid air on Sunday. There's that one last gasp front there on Monday. Don't worry too much about it, but that will be a chance of showers and storms with that. Once it clears by, then we'll get hopefully 3 days, maybe up to 4, that we could get some dry weather. And it does this continue onward? Yes, to an extent, although I am seeing signs that started to show up a couple days ago. The 4th of July weekend seems to be the target weekend to get into the time of the year. Where's Stephen Decker? The time of the year where you get into the hot, hazy, hot and humid days for long stretches of time. It looks like the 4th of July weekend may start that pattern, but also means that the tropics are going to be lighting up as well. So, yeah, we'll worry about that later. Church picnics already starting up, right? On Friday night. Yeah, Friday night will be tough on those. Stay tuned. We'll keep you updated. They at least extend throughout the whole weekend. So if you don't have the ability to get to everything you want to there on a Friday night, at least you're going to have, some time there on Saturday and Sunday to make up some ground there. And that's some good news. Instead of being just limited to just one night only. One night only. Hey James, how you doing? What thoughts for the weather during the games? Well, that's a good question. I think certainly the games on Friday will be more at risk. over at Jim Patterson. After that point, I'm not as worried about anything causing big issues at all. But the Friday games, I think, will be more at risk, and mainly just because of lightning delays. Can't have everybody sitting in those stands during lightning, right? So that will be some of your bigger delays will come from Friday. So let's, if we can get that front south, and all the so far the trends seem today want to really push it down south, that would allow us to have a good looking weekend and a chance to enjoy everything outside. But hey, it's Wednesday. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and we'll see where we stand on that. And if we have more good news to share. All right, guys, appreciate it. I don't want to spoil too much of your fun. Hey, it is Tuesday, Wednesday. It is Wednesday, so it is Wednesday outside. You need to get outside and enjoy. I'm not sure what just happened. Marissa and Tawana just went running down the hallway for some reason, in a jokingly way, but I think they're all right. I think it's their Friday, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, you guys have a good rest of the day today, and I will see you all coming up on midday at 11 a.m. Take care, everyone.